Hi everyone, this is Raw5069 with Take the Red Pill. I want to address Raw5069. He, in response to a video that he responded to me, it seemed as though we're going to have a little dialogue back and forth a little bit, which is good. The one thing I want to start off by saying is this to you, Raw. Hope you don't mind me giving you the short version of saying Raw. The one thing I want to say is this. I actually appreciate our dialogue back and forth. And one of the reasons I say that is because there are a lot of theists that I've spoken with in the past and present as well, who, when I ask questions, or when I see other people ask them questions, they seem to really go off on a tangent. They start to get into name calling and saying, oh, well, you know, you don't understand, you're dumb, or they really start saying things. And it's not just theists I see that happen with. I see with people who are not theists do the same thing. So it's actually refreshing that we're able to do this. And so I definitely welcome your comments. And, you know, I look forward to, you know, the dialogue. You know, we both do not precisely agree on everything, which is fine. No two people will ever agree on everything. And that's expected. But again, like I said, I do appreciate the way our dialogue is going so far, and I just hope we can continue on. Now, with that being said, I am, of course, here to address some of the things that you said. So I will start off by this right here. You know, in your, not the very last video, the one that's dated February 9th, but the one before that, the response that you gave to me. One thing that I'm trying to figure out is you said that you met God. But yet in this last video, the one on the 9th, you said that you met Jesus. And so I'm trying to figure out which one is it. Did you meet Jesus or did you meet God? Now, again, I look at those things as extraordinary claims. To say that, you know, especially like I say Jesus, you know, if you met him, you know, the man has been dead for, you know, over 2,000 years now. So if you met him, what did you see? And the one of meeting God is, to me, is even a more extraordinary claim, because now we're talking about the supernatural being that's supposed to be in charge of everything, all powerful, all knowing, the whole 9 yards. And if you met God, again, what did you see? Now, when I say what did you see, I don't mean maybe in the last video I said something about, you know, is he a long beard or did you see a bright light? What I want to know is, did you see or did you feel something? And if what you felt was, you know, intense enough for you to justify you saying that it must have been God or Jesus. That's what I want to know. I'm trying to get to the meat of the matter of what exactly did you experience? Okay, so when I asked you, what did you see? I guess I'm asking for everything. What did you see? What did you feel? Just simply what happened. Now, I'm kind of looking down at my clock because you made a point on your last video. And you said, you know, if people watch videos that are like too long, you know, 19, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever cases, it could tend to get boring. So there's a possibility I may have to do this in 2 videos. I hope you don't mind. And so I'm going to be looking at my clock all the time just to kind of keep track of the time. Here's something else that, you know, I might, you know, that you said, and, you know, I do need to address it. You said something about it's okay for me to post my videos on yours, or link it somehow, and I just recently figured out how to do that. So again, I'm pretty new to not Facebook. I'm pretty new to YouTube. And so a lot of the features that are available, I'm going to have to just kind of like learn as I go along. And so if I don't, you know, responding, I can respond quickly. But if there's certain things I don't do right away, you'll have to understand it's because, again, I'm a newbie to this. But you said, you know, for me to post my videos, you know, onto like your channel, I guess, where you will accept. And I can tell you the one thing right there, one thing about that. I'm not going to get vulgar. That's not my style. That's not me. My whole style is always going to be asking questions from a logical standpoint. Now, to go back to what I was saying about posting my videos or linking them to your channel, and you said then other Christians or other friends, I'm not sure exactly your wording, you said that they will see it and they'll pray for me. Well, does praying really work? And here's the reason I ask. My experience and yours seem to be a little bit different from what you explained. You said that you grew up, I mean, I'm paraphrasing now, so bear with me. It seemed as though you kind of grew up not really believing, and then 33 years ago, somehow you met God, as you claim, and things changed. Well, for me, it was the opposite. I actually grew up a Christian. I grew up, you know, first Catholic, then Christian. You know, I grew up and I intensely, immensely believed everything that was in that book. And I did not really question anything. I did not really analyze things. I just saw things and say, yep, it's got to be God. Yes, I believe it. It's not actually until recently, and I would say within the last, inside, when I say within, I mean literally within, inside the last 5 months, that things just started really taking a turn, I guess, so to speak. And I've prayed. I've gotten on my knees. Heck, I've cried and prayed. I mean, I've prayed fervently. And I'm not saying my prayer is stronger than anybody else. I can't measure that, and I can't claim that either. But I've prayed very, very hard when I used to pray. Some things I attributed them to supposedly God answering my prayers. Other things, nothing happened. And those I did attribute to supposedly God answering my prayers, when I look back in retrospect, it wasn't God that answered my prayer. It was me who went out and just said, you know something, I'm going to go do this. And I made things happen. Now, as for the question I just asked about does prayer really work, here's the reason why I'm asking you. The Bible states a lot of things about, you know, like for example, if you have the belief, if you believe as much as a mustard seed, which a mustard seed is very, very small. But if you have as much as that much faith, you can say to the tree, uproot yourself, and it will be uprooted. And then, of course, there are other passages that says, you know, where more than one are gathered in my name, there I will be. And also, you know, if you ask anything in my name, it shall be given to you. Now, I would like to think, I would hope anyway, anybody who's a pastor of a church, that they wholeheartedly believe what is it that they're telling the congregation. And they're not saying it in the sense of, okay, well, I just want you to believe, but even though I don't believe it. I would like to think that there's no pastor out there who's like that. Although it's a possibility, I don't know. But I would like to think the average pastor is not like that. And I would also like to think that the average parent out there who is praying for something for their child is totally sincere in heart and totally believes 100% in their heart what is it that they're praying for and the outcome of their prayers. So here's the reason why I said that. I remember this one church that I went to. It was when I was in Florida. I was stationed in the military, and it was while I was stationed out there in Panama City, Florida. And there was this one lady and her husband used to come to church every Sunday. The ladies don't like mainly came to church every Sunday. The husband, we saw him once here or there. Well, one Sunday, the mother, you know, she was in the church as well. The mother came in with a wheelchair, carting her daughter into the church. Now, there was like some type of speculation or something that the husband really beat the living daylights out of the girl, and so she had brain damage. This girl, I mean, I think about it and I still feel sorry for her. You know, she was 1 week vibrant, just totally shouting, praying the whole 9 yards. Next week, she's an invalid. She can do nothing whatsoever. Wheelchair bound. Literally, everybody have to do everything for her. She could not speak. I mean, she was just really in bad shape. I remember that first week, not just the pastor and the mother, but the whole church prayed for her. And I remember some of the words of that pastor say, you know, yes, we believe that by the end of, you know, that she will be, you know, God will heal her, she'll be fine by the end of the day. Next week came, same exact condition, nothing changed. We did the same thing again. Prayed for her the whole 9 yards. I mean, this went on for weeks, actually, that we were praying for her. And her condition, as far as I knew, until the time I left, PCS'd out of there, remained the same. So does prayer actually work? That's a good question. Now, here's what I've heard. I've heard people tell me that, well, God does things in His time, or God has a reason for things happening. To those people, I've always asked them the one question. If there's a logical reason, if there's a logical explanation as to why would God allow or have somebody get beaten so badly like that, that, you know, they are pretty much crippled for the rest of life, mentally and physically crippled for the rest of life. I would love to hear that explanation. I really would. So, you know, the whole thing about, you know, people praying and, you know, God will probably do whatever, that's a pretty tough one. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I understand the whole thing about, you know, I understand the whole thing, I guess, with God giving you eyes and ears, and you know, my sheep shall hear my voice. I get that. I honestly do. It's in the Bible, and you know, people are bound to believe what's in that book, and I get that. However, again, it goes to the same thing. Where's the proof on this? How does that work? Because the whole thing of, you know, knock and you shall find, or knock and the door shall be open to you, and seek and you shall find. I did that already. I did that for years. I cannot even begin to explain to you in my own experience what I've done, what I've gone through, how I've like prayed. The times I prayed until I had serious headaches, and nothing happened. So the whole thing about, you know, pray, and it's, again, that seems to me almost like to be more an individual thing. Like, you know, a lot of people that pray for something and then they get happy and they go out and they do things and they make things happen, and then they attribute their successes to a deity, a God. Oh, God did this, when all the while they can't see that they made things happen, and they can't take credit for their own selves, for their own doings. They feel they have to attribute things to a God. And those are some of the things I kind of disagree with, and I got questions on, because people are capable of doing so much more than what they think they can, and if they stop limiting themselves to thinking, well, God has to do this, or, you know, then they will see how much more further they would go. Here's the other thing also, and it goes for both positive and negative things. I've seen bad things happen to people, and when talking to them, they say, well, it's God's will. It's like, come on, really? Are you serious? It's like, what would the purpose of an omnibenevolent deity have to make, you know, have you really suffer or go through something crazy or bring misfortune upon you? What is the logic behind that? And again, like I said, these are questions that I have all the time, and, you know, when I ask, people just kind of flip out a little bit, I guess, because the answers or the questions seems to be somewhat not logically sound for them to answer. Not that the question is not logically sound for them to answer, but the answer that they would give would not be logically sound. You know, here's the thing. You know, one thing that you mentioned is, you know, God is all-seeing, all-knowing, you know, and I guess, but when you said that, I think you were kind of quoting me. Of me saying, well, if He's all-knowing, all-seeing, you know, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, all that, why would certain things happen a certain way? We can address that probably in another time, or, you know, that wasn't one of my intents for this one, because I feel that one right there, just that topic right there, that can go on. I mean, I got quite a few questions I can ask about that, in which that can go on for quite some time, and I don't think I have enough time or space in this video for that. Now, here's the other thing I have. It's almost like you interchanged God for Jesus and Jesus for God. Many times you said God and then you said Jesus, and things, you know, you kind of interchange them. So for all intended purposes, we can use, it seems as though we can use one word or the other, and it's all going to be the same. So we can say Jesus the whole time and it'll all be the same, or we can say God the whole time and it'll all be the same. The reason I kind of brought that up is because when I'm asking questions, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with either the word God or either the word Jesus. I'm not going to keep changing them, because I've heard many theists, now I'm not sure what your position is, but I've heard many theists turn around and say, well, God is Jesus, or God was Jesus, no, excuse me. They said Jesus is God manifested in the flesh. Well, here's the thing. If Jesus is God manifested in the flesh, that means he's God nevertheless. So let's kind of stick to that theory for a little bit for now. Or excuse me, not the theory, because theory, actually there are facts behind the theory. Let's stick with that, how could I say, hypothesis for now. And then I will ask questions whereas you'll understand probably where I'm coming from with all the questions I'm asking, because there are things that just do not make sense when you look at them. And here's the thing, it doesn't make a difference to me whether someone's a Christian, a Buddhist, or whatever the case is. I think there's a point in time when people gotta look back and ask a question and say, okay, how does this make sense? Instead of just turning around and saying, oh yeah, this is true, this is real, without even really analyzing things. You know, I've heard people, when I've asked people questions, you know, one of the defense, I suppose, answers that they give me is, well, you know, you're not going to ever understand everything about God. That may be so. I may not understand everything about this God thing because, number one, it's not confusing to me, but people make it confusing. There is no one answer to any one question. It seems like you can ask so many people, and let's say in Christianity, different faiths like Mormonism, Pentecostal, Baptist, you can ask them the same question and you're going to get so many different answers. So how is one to believe what's being said when you're getting different answers to the same questions? Anyway, I will go ahead and continue the rest of this on part 2 video. And I'm hopefully, yeah, because I'm at about 11 minutes now. So I will hopefully wrap it up. I'll wrap it up right now. Then hopefully I'll completely finish wrapping up my questions on video number 2. So until then, this is Raw5069. We take the red pill. We'll see you in a few.